They are preparing to wipe us out. Here's a clip from a video I published 2 months ago to my YouTube channel sharing warnings and information of this imminent drought threat.
About the noise that we're hearing, what is that?
I always say that's the sound of money. The generators generate the power, and it comes to this transformer behind us, and it's put on these overhead transmission lines. It can go to Phoenix, it can go to, Las Vegas, it can go anywhere the connections are made.
Is it sustainable in the long term to keep bringing a little bit more water down every year?
In my opinion, no, you're spending more than you're making.
But without water, energy production will inevitably go down and prices will go up.
It was true then and it's still true now. This all boils down to money. Now, this is important, and I consider you all to be my family, and I urge you to prepare. I know how smart, hardworking, and determined you all are. So I put together this information and recent news updates to help you stay informed and plan to be better prepared. I don't want to see anyone blindsided or see increased hardship as a result of the poor decisions made by the people we voted into political legislative power, who we expected to have our best interests in mind, and obviously don't. Now, if you rely on the Colorado River for water and or water-generated hydroelectric power from the Hoover Dam, the Glen Canyon Dam, or the Flaming Gorge Dam, this video's message is for you. Oh, and if you aren't included in this group, you may want to stick around and listen, because this is going to become a growing trend nationwide, and nobody's going to be immune from the painful financial impacts that will result. If you are living paycheck to paycheck now and can barely get by or make ends meet, I hate to break it to you, but it's about to get tougher. If you're burning through your savings to cover bills and necessities now, then it's time to seriously develop a plan and strategy to tighten up your budget and increase your income earning potential. And if you're one of the many Americans that Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell says is flush with cash from old stimulus checks, then I guess you can keep sitting at home on the couch and you don't have to worry about a thing, because you're just balling out of control anyway from all that money Jerome Powell and the Fed sent you when the money printer was turned on. But for the rest of us, the shrinking middle class and the working class poor who work hard and long hours, sometimes 7 days a week, without a day off, just to earn enough money to be poor and broke, listen up. The Colorado River is the most regulated river in the world, and its relationship between Wyoming and other states involved is a very complex issue at the moment. The Colorado River system consists of the entire Colorado River Basin, which covers nearly 250,000 square miles and provides water to 7 U.S. states and 2 Mexican states. And yes, you heard that right, 2 Mexican states. In addition to the 40 million people and 5.5 million acres of irrigated lands, which include important U.S. farmland, relying on its water and water-generated power. The Mexican Water Treaty of 1944 allotted to Mexico a guaranteed annual quantity of 1.5 million acre-feet of water, which is approximately 489 billion gallons of water per year, coming from the Colorado River, plus additional deliveries in specific circumstances. And if we were to calculate costs based on EPA.gov's uniform rate example of roughly 3 cents for every 10 gallons, this would be worth about $1,442,550,000 in just water alone. Right now, the big 3 laws concerning water allocation are the Compact of 1922, the 1944 Treaty with Mexico, and the 1948 Upper Colorado River Basin Compact. And there are 3 methods available for allocating interstate streams among states. The first is a decision by the U.S. Supreme Court, which allocates water among states based upon equitable considerations and provides equitable apportionment. The second is through interstate compacts, which are agreements between 2 or more states allocating the use of water from interstate streams with the consent and approval of Congress. The last method is by congressional action, which becomes federal law. So all 3 methods are bound by bureaucracy and political red tape right off the bat. The 1922 Compact was created after Wyoming claimed the constitutional rights to as much water from the Colorado River as it needed, and that Wyoming had first rights to the water after a dispute between Colorado and Wyoming. The U.S. Supreme Court ruled in favor of Wyoming, and Wyoming won the claim. Recent declines of inflow into Lake Powell and Lake Mead due to the continuing drought have prompted the Bureau of Reclamation to approve 2 separate urgent drought response actions that will help prop up Lake Powell. In order to protect Lake Powell, more water will flow into Lake Powell from Flaming Gorge, and less water will be released downstream. Also, less water will be released from Lake Powell into Glen Canyon Dam. By ensuring that Lake Powell doesn't fall below the target elevation of 3,525 feet, it helps to ensure compact compliance and continued upper basin water use and development. And here's an important factor that must be taken into consideration, so please pay attention. By ensuring that Lake Powell doesn't fall below the target elevation of 3,525 feet, it will also maintain hydropower at Glen Canyon Dam. The water-produced hydropower, and hydropower equals money. Political government officials are developing mapping projects and plans to regulate and to prioritize water use and reservoir priorities. Now, doesn't that just make you feel all warm and fuzzy inside? Now, Lake Powell and Lake Mead operate conjunctively, and that means that the operations of one affect the other. The system is designed to work so that runoff originating in the upper basin fills Lake Powell, and Lake Mead is filled by releases from Lake Powell and intervening flows below Glen Canyon Dam. And under a plan announced by the U.S. Bureau of Reclamation in yet another emergency move to keep power generation possible 450 miles downstream at the Glen Canyon Dam, the level of Flaming Gorge Reservoir will drop by 9 feet. With Lake Powell at historic low levels and further declines forecasted, the lake's volume is expected to fall to a critical threshold below which water cannot pass through the dam's turbines without wrecking them. To delay that possibility, the Bureau plans to inject nearly 1 million acre-feet of water into Powell through a combination of holding back releases into the Colorado River from the Glen Canyon Dam and releasing 500,000 acre-feet from Flaming Gorge. So there is good news, but there's also bad news too. So which one do you want first? According to the Bureau's Upper Colorado Regional Director, Wayne Pullen, this should add about 16 feet of elevation. A release from Flaming Gorge is designed to substantively benefit the continued operation at Lake Powell while having a manageable effect on Flaming Gorge, in turn allowing minimum power generation water levels to be maintained at Lake Powell. But in my opinion, I would expect to see massive price increases in relationship to water and water-generated electric power to curb usage by consumers. So this is still a matter of supply and demand. And when demand is high and supply is low, the selling prices go up. Do you remember the real estate housing market during the pandemic? Buyers agents bombarding sellers agents with multiple offers, over asking, waiving appraisal contingencies, and paying all cash. There was and still is limited housing supply and huge demand, and the prices went to the moon. This is really no different. The resulting declines in Flaming Gorge's level are expected to cause difficulties for recreational boating and fishing at the popular destination on the Wyoming-Utah state line. Meanwhile, launching boats at Powell at 23% capacity has become nearly impossible, with most ramps high and dry. Holding water in Powell also means less water reaching Lake Mead, which is itself at historic lows that could imperil power generation at Hoover Dam. Assistant Interior Secretary for Water and Science, Tanya Trujillo, said, "Today's decision reflects the truly unprecedented challenges facing the Colorado River Basin and will provide operational certainty for the next year. And everyone who relies on the Colorado River must continue to work together to reduce uses and think of additional proactive measures we can take in the months and years ahead of rebuilding our reservoirs." And like I said, in my opinion, this is going to start hitting pocketbooks hard. Time to come up off all that stimulus money Mitch McConnell said you were sitting on. And now may not be a bad time to start a side hustle and passive income generating stream to help pay for your water and electricity utility bills. If you want to know how and learn more, click the link in the description and let's chat. But remember what I said and make no mistake about it. This all boils down to money. They're going to continue making more of it by taking it away from you. And if you don't have a plan to outpace their greed, then you may very well be undoubtedly doomed.
What about the noise that we're hearing? What is that?
I always say that's the sound of money.